Alright, so if you're anything like me and you get like super nervous when you go on dates, you might be tempted to talk too much. So this especially happens if you feel like you don't have a lot in common and like y'all aren't talking very much and you feel like you have to fill the gap. And so I know a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll start telling a story, but they'll put in like way too much detail because, you know, they're just nervous, so they're like rambling. But then what they don't realize is that, like, for example, a lot of the people that they probably will talk about in the story, like, the other person doesn't even know. So it's like you don't have to put like all those little bitty details in there.
So what do you do today?
Oh my gosh, okay, so I woke up and then I brushed my teeth and I put on my contacts and then my friend Betty called me up and she's like, and so I was like, oh my gosh, I love her. So I went to the park and I went on the slide and the swings and we like ran around and then you texted me up.
Alright, so another way how to not impress your date would be to like start talking about who you hooked up with. Now you guys, I specifically remember like one person who I dated in particular did this, and they literally made it so blunt. Like, we were just like watching like other YouTube videos and he's like, oh my gosh, I hooked up with that girl. And I just like, I didn't even know what to say. It's like, why would you tell me that? Like, I get if y'all are in like a serious relationship or if y'all are like, you know, even like talking, but this was like our second or third date. I was just like, cool. And then I guess, to be honest, in my mind, it made me think, well, does he hook up with a lot of people? Red flag. So this is a picture of me and my friends. I don't know if you know them.
Oh, dude, I hooked up with her at that one frat party.
What? You hooked up? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, she's like mad cool. Like, we like did it.
I am so done with you. Alright, so the third way of how to not impress your date would be to brag. So I've had people I've talked to do this before. Like, they feel like a need to impress me, so they'll always like go out of their way to say something good about themselves. When people do that, they feel insecure about themselves, and that's why they have to try to brag to like make themselves seem better. So to be honest, if you really wanted to actually impress them, I would say to do the opposite. So like, don't go out of your way to say something good you did. Let the other person ask you questions that will make you say the good things you did.
So tell me more about yourself.
Well, let's see. Like, in high school, I was like captain of the tennis team, and like everyone would like report to me, and like they all loved me a lot. It was like really cool. And then like I came to college, and you know, I had to focus on my studies, so I got straight A's, like every single class. And then everyone loved me so much, I was class president. Alright, so the next way of how to not impress your date would be to not say bad things about yourself. So an example would be if you are saying, oh, me and so, like, we had a falling out and blah, 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 blah. Like, saying stuff like that too early on is not good. And also, if you're, like, saying things that make you look bad as far as, like, oh, like, I drank so much, you know, stuff like that, like, I feel like that should come later on, because your first impression really does mean a lot more than, like, what later on will be. It's like the foundation. So you want to make sure that you say everything you can right at first.
Yo, this one time I drank so much that I blacked out in my friend's bathroom and I woke up in their front yard. It was lit.
Do you like drink a lot?
Yeah, like every night, bro.
Every night?
Yeah.
How do you function?
It's just, you know, party over everything.
So I was best friends with this girl, Sally, and it was like really great for like 10 years, but then like she totally betrayed me. Like, she is literally the worst. And like, TBH though, like her clothes like sucked. Like, I was honestly like embarrassed to be with her, so it's like whatever.
I guess a lot of people hate you.
Oh, no. Only like Sally, and then, oh, well, yeah, me and Betty, like, we're not really friends anymore either, or like Susan. But I mean, that's okay. I'm still fabulous.
Interesting.
Alright, so the next way of how to not impress your date would be to talk about your ex a lot. So I actually know people who have done this, and it's like so annoying. So you just have to be careful, because I feel like you can mention it if it's like super relevant, or if y'all are talking about like how you've grown as a person maybe, but I feel like that should come in later dates. But for the first date, I would say like whatever you do not mention your ex. Oh my god.
So I saw that new Avengers movie the other day. It was really good.
Oh my gosh. So like me and my ex, we saw all those movies, and it was like so good, and like wow, like we just like totally bonded over the movies. Like it was weird. Like he was like so obsessed. Like I can't believe like you liked him too. Like whoa, like what a coincidence.
Yeah.
Alright, so the next way of how to not impress your date would be to ask too personal of questions. So you guys, like I actually had someone on a date one time ask me my body count. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like first date. And like I feel like we hadn't even cracked the surface of other things yet. And it's like, if you're gonna ask that, it's like, what do you really care about? You know, it's just, and other things too, like if you just ask like, if they're going through a hard time, or like just something like really deep, I feel like things can get really awkward. So like make sure not to do that.
So question, what's your body count?
Excuse me? Oh, you think you can like ask that?
Yeah.
Like it's our first date.
It's a reasonable question.
Like, why do you even want to know that?
I don't know, I want to see if you're a hoe or not.
I wanted to see if you were a hoe, and I know the answer now. Alright everyone, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and let me know what other videos you want to see. I love doing skits, I want to do some challenges. But yeah, hopefully you guys can relate to this, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!